In the beautiful countryside of England, Queen Eleanor ruled over her great and peaceful kingdom, Norland. The kingdom was surrounded by lush green hills, ancient forests, and prosperous villages, where the people loved their queen. But this peace was overshadowed by an ancient tale that spoke of the terrifying stone giants living in the northern mountains. Centuries ago, these giants were imprisoned by a magical force, but one night, a powerful earthquake shook the kingdom, and news arrived that the giants had awakened and were advancing south. Queen Eleanor, known for her bravery, immediately gathered her council. Royal soldiers, commanders, and advisors assembled in the royal palace, and the air was thick with fear. Sir Cedric, the chief of the royal guards, said, "Your Majesty, we cannot fight these giants with our weapons. They are made of stone, and our swords will have no effect on them." The queen, taking a deep breath, replied, "We must find a way. The ancient sorcerers who imprisoned them must have left a secret behind." Royal scholars began to search through ancient books, and finally, they found mention of the sword of Ashenfell, which had the power to break stone. This sword was lost centuries ago and was hidden in the magical forest of Eldergrove, where very few dared to venture. "I will go myself to retrieve the sword," the queen declared before the council. "It is necessary to protect my people, and I will not let them be destroyed by the giants." Despite her advisors' warnings, the queen remained firm in her resolve. With Sir Cedric and a few royal soldiers, Queen Eleanor embarked on the journey toward the magical forest of Eldergrove. The forest was dense and terrifying, with ancient and towering trees, and strange creatures lurked in their shadows. After several days of travel, they reached the center of the forest, where an ancient stone altar stood, and upon it lay the sword Ashenfell. As the queen reached for the sword, the ground trembled, and a deep voice said, "Only the one with a brave and pure heart may wield this sword." Without hesitation, Queen Eleanor grasped the hilt of the sword, and immediately, the vines wrapped around the sword fell to the ground. The power within the sword enveloped her, and the blade began to glow. Cedric, astonished, exclaimed, "This sword holds the power to defeat the giants." Sword now in their possession, the queen and her companions began their journey back to Norland to face the giants. Return, they found the giants had already reached the kingdom's borders, their enormous bodies shaking the earth. The giants were immensely powerful, their skin was hard as stone, and their eyes glowed with an orange light. They trampled trees beneath their feet and easily hurled boulders as they advanced. Norland army stood ready at the border, but their weapons were powerless against the giant strength. Queen Eleanor, witnessing the destruction, drew her sword and spurred her horse toward the giants, with her brave soldiers following closely behind. As Queen Eleanor approached one of the giants, it swung its massive hand toward her, but she was swift. She drove the sword into the giant's leg, causing cracks to appear on its stone surface, and the giant roared in anger. Queen continued her assault, breaking the stone of the giant's body with each strike. Finally, the first giant collapsed and shattered into pieces. The soldiers cheered, but the queen knew the battle was far from over. More giants advanced, their footsteps shaking the ground. But Queen Eleanor remained fearless. With each strike of Ashenfell, she cut through the giants, reducing their stone bodies to dust. The soldiers, inspired by the queen's courage, joined the fight, but they knew it was the magical sword that was truly defeating the giants. After hours of battle, the battlefield was covered in the remains of the giants, but the greatest threat still loomed. The king of the giants, twice as large as the others, stepped onto the field. His eyes burned with rage, and in his hand, he held a massive stone weapon. He looked at the queen and thundered, "You have defeated my comrades, but I will crush you into the ground." Queen Eleanor, undeterred, raised her sword and charged. The giant swung his weapon, but the queen skillfully dodged and struck at his legs, causing cracks to spread through his body. Finally, with all her strength, the queen plunged the sword into the chest of the giant. The earth trembled once more, and the giant let out one last roar before shattering into pieces. Silence fell over the battlefield, and the soldiers cheered in triumph. The terror of the giants had ended, and Queen Eleanor had become the savior of her people.
Subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. If you like our story, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures and stories.